All right, everyone, here we are with ticker symbol Nndm, Nano Dimensions. And before we jump into this chart, I want to say welcome to all the first-time viewers and investors. Welcome to the channel. Invest for tomorrow. To all the subscribers, welcome back. And let's jump into this chart. So as we jump into this chart, I'm going to go ahead and overview the resistance and support and the 50-day moving average really quick. I go into more detail about everything, what we want to look for moving forward, and other things having to do with the offering and so forth in the Nano Dimensions stock chart analysis video, which I'm going to do a short analysis here for anyone that missed that video. And we're going to talk about how Ark Invest bought more than we discussed yesterday. So I wanted to watch the behavior of this extra purchase before talking about it. So I want to go ahead and applaud and say to those of you that took a moment to state wherever you got your research from, or you're doing your homework, or you actually, found it yourself, or you saw another video. I really appreciate you guys pointing it out because you guys commented down below. That tells me that we're all here investors on top of our game. We're trying to do our best to be on top of things as much as we can to watch what's going on and also see what other things are being done other than just purchases by Ark Invest, right? A lot of you guys talk about other institutions. You guys always ask the question, and I want to go ahead and state to those of you that are curious, can we see if other institutions are buying? I think there is a possibility. It's just you got to dig a little deeper, and it's not that easy. You got to go through a lot of different things, and I'm going to show you guys how much more difficult it just got for us here to know when Ark Invest is purchasing unless they send us, right, directly the information, right, on, their purchases intra-trade, which they're actually making these trades probably pre-market or after-market, or they're just forgetting completely to put it on the list because a lot of people, as they're tracking this and watching these videos, they're realizing, hey, the numbers are going up in shares. That means they're buying, and I'm not getting notified, right? People have finally caught on to that, and that's why I do these videos. So I'm here to tell you guys that it may look like Ark Invest bought, but Ark Invest did not buy any shares today. They were actually in a very neutral position. What does that mean for the stock overall in their perspective? I think they believe there's another opportunity to get in below this point, and if we don't see it go below, right, the point where it's at 855, ending up in bearish territory, they're going to start to jump in somewhere in higher numbers because they're just giving it a shot. They're like, hey, let's kind of step back because how many shares we bought yesterday is enormous. And again, those of you that pointed it out, I really appreciate it. I'm going to tell you guys a funny story how I came across it, and then we're going to jump into everything here. Right? So as I was looking and doing my research, right? I was doing my research in ARKW. I was looking at another ticker symbol. All of a sudden, as I'm scanning through, I was skimming through all of this. Boom. Nano Dimensions. 3,640,000 shares in ARKW. And wow, I was like, am I reading right? So then I was trying to look at how much there was in the other ETF itself, right? And I was like, okay, so the numbers are real. There's 3 million over there and there's 4 million here. This is real. So I was shocked. We're going to jump into everything in just a moment. So let me show you guys the resistance for those of you that want to hear this out real quick. 892 is your resistance that needs to be broken through. No ifs, buts about it. The bulls need to pull through, turn that into a support, and continue the momentum. The 50-day moving average currently is 842. It might have changed from the previous video because it's been moving over time, but the change is just a few cents. But currently it's 842. The support is 838. If that gets broken through, your next support level will be down here at 805. And then we have down here 766, 765, give or take. So since we jumped on all of that, let's go ahead and see why this is important and why it just got more difficult to see when Ark Invest is purchasing. So when I saw this, I was looking for Open Door, and I want to talk about Open Door as well. And we're probably going to do that in more detail in another video. But Open Door, their position, since the last time I talked about it, I think their position's already multiplied by 2, right? And Open Door has been falling downwards, and I think they're loading up on more shares. Let's see if we can actually confirm that. So look at this. They've been loading up on shares. Wow, this is interesting. I hadn't seen that. So up to this point yesterday, when I was looking for Open Door, I was going to do a video on it. I was going to talk about it. And then also, personally, I was like, if they're buying on the dips, which they added to their position, right, this week, and that's how they ended up in 3 million, they are seeing an opportunity here. And now we look here, their position went down a little bit. Just a few thousand. The stock is going down. I'm going to keep a close eye on when they buy again. But I'm going to do a full overview on Open Door and what's going on there. We're here to talk about Nano Dimensions. So that's how I found Nano Dimensions. This is a big deal, guys. I don't know what their goal is, because what they just did from yesterday to today, it kind of switched, my perspective on what the point is here. We need to still see. So when I saw this, I was like, I need to see their behavior 1 day or 2 days and see what's going on here. Is this officially being part of the ETF, or is this slowly going to get transferred or get sold, right? So Nano Dimensions is in the Ark Invest ETF called Next Generation Internet. All the stocks in this ETF are powerhouses when it comes to growth, when it comes to innovation, when it comes to market capitalization. I mean, look at the stocks in this list. I mean, just the top 10 are strong. Then you go from the 10 to the 20, stronger. And then you got a lot of strong ones down here that they're slowly getting their hands on over time. I mean, I remember when Apple was at 100,000 shares, and look where they're at now. They are slowly jumping in on these and making them part of their ETF. Now, the top 10 are strong, like super strong. This ETF here, I like all their ETFs in some way or another, but I have a lot of respect for this ETF, because this ETF is literally what it is. Next generation internet. These are the guys disrupting their sector to the max, right? And if they're not disrupting to the max, they have some type of disruption, or they are ahead of others in their sector. All these guys here are pretty big dogs. So interesting that Nano is in the 53rd place, right, in this list at 3,619,896 shares. That's today. I want you guys to see when I came across it, right, how many shares they had. And this is where it got confusing. Like, that's why I didn't want to jump onto this right away. And I appreciate those of you that knew about this beforehand, before I have even talked about it. So keep in mind, 28th, we were on the 29th because I wanted to point out how Open Door, some of it got sold. And then when you look at Nano Dimensions from yesterday to today, it's going to look like it got sold, right? About 21,000 shares. So I did further digging, and this is why it's going to be confusing now. And we need to do even further digging to watch what's going on. So Nano Dimensions, 3,640,000 minus 21 shares, we are here now at 3,619,000, right? And 896 to say the full number. You would have thought, just looking at this ETF, that they sold 21,000 shares. That was the first thing that would have came to my mind. So I did further digging. We're going to jump into that in just a moment. But what I want you guys to understand is, I didn't talk about it just yet because I wanted to see how they were going to use this. If they keep selling, quote unquote, or transferring their shares, then this is kind of just a place for Nano Dimensions to reside, these extra 3 million shares, I think. Now, if they really believe that it's going to be part of this ETF, there's some big room here. And they're being very bold adding it here. Take a moment, and look at these. Look at these. I'm going to take a moment here and let you guys just look at what stocks are here, right? It's crazy stuff. So when I saw Open Door here, it made sense that it competes now with Zillow. It made sense that it's here. Now, the fact that they sold from yesterday to today, I'm going to have to look into that. And I want to see when they actually make their position larger again, if they're rebalancing or something. But we need to watch that. And like I said, I'm going to do a full video on that. So let's go over to ARKQ. This is where Nano Dimensions has been. This is where Nano Dimensions was just like we just saw in the previous ARK ETF, where it was way down here and it's reached up to here. And I see it reaching the top 15 or top 10 if this behavior continues. So here we are with 4,709,133 shares. If we look at today, now keep in mind that's the 28th. We look at today, 29th, Nano Dimensions went from 4 million, right? 709,000, right? Let's just round it real quick, to 4,730,000. When you do the math and you take from 640, let's forget about the millions, and bring it to 619, that's 21. When you go from 709 to 730, that's 21. They're transferring now from ARKW to ARKQ their Nano Dimensions positions. So before, we didn't have to juggle between the two now. Now, if the numbers are going up and they're going down somewhere else, it's going to look like selling is going on one side and buying is going on the other side, and they haven't done anything. They are neutral. Their position is neutral. They're just playing around with their own shares. Now, I did say that when this hit 4.5 that they would hit 5 million. They took it to the next level. They have a total amount right now of about collectively, right, if you put it together, of about 9 million shares. I could see this hitting 10 million shares if they continue in total, right, making their positions larger and taking a bigger stake. And then that just means they see a lot more room, like tremendous amount of room. So that right there is big stuff. And I said 9 million. I mean 8 million. Excuse me. I just did the math myself. 3 plus 4 is 7, and the 6 and the 7 is basically 8 point something. So big stuff there. This could be on its way to 9 and then 10 million shares if they continue with this behavior and approach, taking a larger stake. I found it interesting that this ETF, it went up and this ETF went down, and I was like, something's not making sense. They're not selling. That doesn't make sense. So I had to do the math, and the 21 from here, right, that are missing now today, and the 21 that are missing from yesterday to today got added on here. So big deal here. We need to watch this carefully. We can get fooled that if this is going up, that they're buying, and the other one's going down, that they're selling, and they might be transferring. So now we have to double check. Now they have 2 ETFs. They're really making this much more difficult for investors to be on top of it now. Like, it's almost like they want to confuse, or they added it to ARKW for the meantime, and then it's all going to end up in ARKQ. But if it stays in ARKW and it keeps on ranking up and growing here, these 3 million or however million they have, and even if they add positions to this one and the other one, then this has potential, because like I said, look at what it's competing with on the list. These are big players. So that right there, for Nano to be here, we need to see how long it lasts. what's its true purpose, or if it's actually going to be part of this ETF. If it is, wow, that is very bold of Ark Invest to add them to that ETF in general. So, guys, that's it with that. They did not buy today. They did not sell. When you look at it, it may look like it. And you probably didn't receive any notifications, or if any notifications were sent out, it did not include that. But very interesting that they can actually move these around now, and the numbers will start to change, and we might miss something or overlook something. So that's why we need to now dig twice as deep and watch what's going on with the chart. Interesting to see them be neutral. The offering ends tomorrow. We need to see how they react, or how they're going to continue to act moving forward, because there is a point and a cutoff where they have to do a certain registry to purchase more shares. So what they're probably trying to do between ETFs is fill them up to 5 million, or get them real close to 5 million, and they're going to move over from that 3 million to the other, where they have almost 5 million, a little bit more, and then they're going to start loading that one up. Who knows? We need to see, we need to watch, because if they're that much of a stake into Nano Dimensions by Ark, and keep in mind, all these offerings, Ark has participated in some way, because they all have a voting right? All these institutions and large investors, they are the ones watching this and taking a bigger stake, so they see what we can't just see. They see beyond what the charts are showing us. So keep that in mind. As always, if you found this video helpful and informative, please do so and subscribe. Don't forget to click on the bell to turn on all notifications. Share this with your friends and community, and don't forget to hit the like button to let me know you watch this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and let's make some money.